According to Archangel Michael, this individual made a final prayer to God regarding your life, and God's response will shatter your heart. This is urgently not your typical situation. Message Michael, the warrior archangel, and the angelic messenger is bringing you a revelation from God regarding a person who profoundly affected your life, someone who held you close to their hearts while they prayed for you, and the person whose final wish was expressed to God regarding your future, the importance of what they say. Furthermore, God's answer conveys an everlasting. This message should not be taken lightly, since it has the ability to change your viewpoint and feel your spirit. You can cry when you hear God's response, but in their tears, there's the love's purpose and the truth of the Almighty. This is a divine message, being clear about how much you are loved, how deeply people perceive you, and how your life has been intricately entwined into His plan. Pause and let your heart open, as this is a discovery that you are unable to disregard a final request that was whispered to heaven. There was a person in heaven who loved you so much that this is their last action. Earth was supposed to ask God on behalf of a friend or parent, a guide, or an individual whose life crossed paths with yours in ways that you might not even completely comprehend. Their most recent. Your thoughts were absorbed by health. They inhaled their last breath, not for themselves. However, picture this: as they stood at the entrance to eternity is going to come into contact with, their hearts were still, oh God, attached to. Instead of requesting wealth, coziness, or favors for themselves, they prayed in a whisper, asking God to watch over you, shield you, and lead you, and to bestow blessings upon you in ways that they might not when on earth. Michael the Archangel, renowned for conveying messages from God, is demonstrating the significance of that wish today, as well as God's. Respond. It's time to hear what heaven must admit that it's heartbreaking. Respond to a loving and painful message. When God heard the last words of this guy, his heart was affected by his request. God, in His boundless wisdom and love, cherishes all prayers, but especially those said in the last seconds of life. Although the answer He provided was not what you might anticipate, it wasn't just a yes or no. It was a message that was full of both sadness and optimism that God's response will shatter your heart, since it exposes the extent of His affection for you. He has made sacrifices for your soul and the pressing nature of your decisions in this. God declares life here. Once they prayed for you to have a life full of. The last wish of the individual in my presence was not only for your well-being, or you were successful in knowing God closely in order to sense His presence and to move in accordance with His aim. They realize that the best present, what you might ever get, is not material wealth or short-lived successes, but a strong and lasting bond with Jesus, God's Christ. In response, I'm waiting for them to turn to. This response, in my opinion, has both an invitation as well as a challenge. God desires to fill your life in His company, yet He won't push His way into your. He is gently tapping on the heart and tenaciously awaiting your opening of the door. 2. They desired to relieve your responsibilities. The one who prayed for you was aware of the battles they witnessed your suffering, your anxieties, and the conflicts you engaged in. Their final silent wish was for God will take away your problems and provide you with God's serenity and rest for you. Answer: I've already paved the way for their weights to be relieved by my Jesus the Son, Christ. This reply can shatter your heart since it exposes a reality while God has already made the resources available for. Your trust is necessary for your independence, your readiness to give up the things that make you feel heavy. He is providing you with a peaceful life and happiness, but you have to make the decision to get it. 3. They wanted to keep you safe. This individual's request was answered with fear for your security, not only physical, but they observed the spiritual. The trap set the perils in this planet by adversaries and temptations that might yank you away from. Their final desire was for God's protection to act as a shield around you, the divine. In response, I have tasked my angels with protecting them, but they have to follow my instructions to stay under my protection. This response has the bittersweet reality that God is watching over, constantly accessible, but it needs compliance. He is too devoted to you to venture into danger without warning. His response is a request that you remain near him, to have faith in his direction and to follow his light, because they desired that you fulfill the reason behind the person's prayer for you. Recognize the potential in you, abilities, gifts, and a divine calling positioned within their final request in life was for you to step into that goal of leading a life that influences others and exalts God the divine. In response, I intend to help them succeed, provide them with a future and hope, yet they must look for me with everything they've got. Jeremiah 29, Heart 11-13. This response contains a pledge as well as please. God has amazing things in store for you, life, but those plans are limited to satisfied if you match up with his. He is requesting that you have faith in him, to look for him and allow him to lead you into the fate he has planned for you, and why. Your heart will be broken by this message. Message is devastating because it shows the extent of God's love and the burden of selects the individual who prayed for you, entrusted all to God, but God alone has left a piece in your decision. It's heartbreaking to follow him. Believe that someone genuinely liked you, that they prayed for in their last act. God's response, however, makes it evident that the realization of that prayer is dependent upon your readiness to go to. God is urging you to act in order to react to his affection and to respect the heritage of the individual who prayed for you. By following the course that God has established, what you must do right now, the story doesn't conclude with a reply. The start of a fresh phase in your existence. The following is how you can react. 1. Turns to God in response to this divine word. The most crucial thing is to give your all. One action you can take is to go to God. If you've been far away, preoccupied, or not sure if this is the right moment to get close to him to pray, look for him and extend an invitation. Him to assume command of your life is waiting for him, arms wide open, to pour his love into your heart and tranquility. 2. Give up your burdens, no matter what burdens you bear, whether they're shame, remorse, pain, or terror. Place them at the feet of Jesus. Said, "Come to me, all that toil and weigh a lot, and I'll give you." Matthew rest. 11:28. Have faith in his strength to carry what you cannot. 3. Walk under the shelter of God, because good fortune is linked to your obedience. Pledge to live in accordance with his word, having faith that his methods are superior to yours and that his intentions are. This is good for your ultimate UL. To honor the person's prayer who the greatest way to commemorate the last was to love you. The individual who prayed for you wishes you to lead a life that embodies love. An objective of God allowed their plea to motivate you to look for God fully and to accomplish the He has placed a calling on your life in. Close a reminder of love from heaven. The message from Archangel Michael is divine, a reminder that you are cherished and, just by the individual who prayed for you, however, by God. Their final wish was a reflection of himself, of their affection for. God's response to you is a reflection of his unwavering affection and want for you two. This is not a message to those who know him. Ignore it. It's a request for action from heaven so you can enter God's life. Has gotten ready for. Your life is valuable and serves a purpose. It is divine, and God has control over your future. Hence, the query is, will you? God is waiting for your response, and the angels are observing, and the one who offered prayers for is encouraging you from. Heaven granted their last desire, and God's response serve as the impetus for a modification that will alter your existence. This is urgent, so don't put it off.